Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Gift of Giving. My name is Stephen Murray, and for those of you tuning in for the first time, this is the program that features the non-profits, 501c3s, and foundations here in the state of Nevada. We are now in the middle of summer, and as hot as it is, it's still time to get outdoors and enjoy the sunshine and the fresh air. And today's guest will help you in that area. I'd like to welcome to the program Joseph Kennedy. He's the Executive Director of Get Outdoors Nevada. Welcome to the program, Joseph. Thanks for being with us here today.
Thank you so much for having me, Stephen. It's my pleasure.
It's going to be a pleasure listening to all about your program and what you've got going here. So why don't you start, Joe, by giving us a brief overview of the organization, its mission, and how long you've been around.
Thanks so much. Yeah, so Get Outdoors Nevada started about 25 years ago. This year we're celebrating our 25th anniversary. And in 2000, a group of community members who are really active in the outdoors came together, and they were thinking about, what makes a healthy community, what makes our community special. And they were thinking, of course, about the connection with the outdoors. Here in Southern Nevada, we are so fortunate to have a lot of wonderful public lands surrounding our community. We have the kind of the alphabet soup, we'll call it sometimes, of federal agencies that are managing lands around Southern Nevada. So you've got the U.S. Forest Service, they're managing Mount Charleston area. You've got the BLM, and they're managing Red Rock and Sloan Canyon. You've got the National Park Service, and they're managing the Lake Mead National Recreation Area. And you've got the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and they're managing the Desert National Wildlife Refuge. We've got all of these incredible lands and agencies supporting our community. And pretty much no matter where you are in the valley, you've got about 15 minutes away from a wonderful outdoor adventure somewhere around. So this organization, these people that came together and started us, they said, hey, we want to make sure that people know about all of these wonderful places, that people are getting connected with all these places and protecting these places. And so our mission it's very straightforward. It's broad but simple. It's to connect more Nevadans of all ages and backgrounds to the outdoors. And so we do that through 3 different program pillars. We do that through education, through volunteer opportunities, and through conservation and outreach. And we'll talk more about those in a little bit. But,
yes.
That's the really principle of what we're doing. We're all about just making sure that the community is connecting to the outdoors and that they are enjoying really all the richness of the outdoor opportunities that we have around Southern Nevada.
It sounds like great program, great opportunity. And you mentioned about one of the organizations that's involved in this is BLM.
Yes.
Just want to make it clear to our viewers, we're talking about Bureau of Land Management, not Black Lives Matter.
That's correct.
Which BLM has now become associated with that phrase. So just wanted to clarify that for our viewers out there.
Thank you so much.
Now, what was the catalyst that made you join this organization?
Yeah, so for me, the outdoors has always been a really special part of my life. And when growing up, I was in an outdoors family. And I didn't really realize that was something that not everyone gets to experience, and that other folks, might have barriers to enjoying the outdoors, and they never form that connection. I grew up, go run around in the desert and go hiking and fishing with my grandfather. My family was very involved in the outdoors. And so it was just something that was always part of my life. As I grew older and I first started my career in the entertainment industry, actually, I moved to Los Angeles and went to college there, and I was in film for a few years. I kind of lost that connection with the outdoors, and it's something that happened slowly, and I don't think I realized how much I'd lost in my life and in my happiness until, I kind of was like, I wasn't happy, I wasn't fulfilled. And later, as an adult, I moved back to Southern Nevada, and I started going out again and hiking in some of the trails that I'd gone to as a kid. I went fishing in some of the places that my grandfather had taken me when I was younger. And I really started reconnecting with something special. And for me, it was the cure to the ills of this modern life that we're in right now. And I think that's something that can resonate with so many people. So, I think increasingly, we're spending time in digital spaces. We're spending time indoors. We're spending time in front of screens. We're spending time rushing about to make it to too many things, and really taking that time to slow down in the outdoors. For me, it's been a huge benefit to my mental health and well-being, and it's just caused me to have a kind of richer approach to life. And so that's something that's been really, really powerful for me. And that was when I saw this opportunity open at Get Outdoors Nevada. So that's something I've been going through in my personal life. At the same time, I'd been working in the education space. I had become an educator, and then I had moved into leading nonprofits. I was the development director for Teach for America Nevada, and I saw this opportunity at Get Outdoors Nevada, and I had this deep personal connection to the outdoors, but also this professional connection to nonprofits. And then I would say the third kind of piece of the puzzle for me personally was that I have a strong belief for these young folks that are out there in our community, that there's a real critical need to connect them to the outdoors. I do believe that the younger generations are especially impacted right now by too much screen time, too much indoor time, not enough time exploring, being out. There's what some folks are calling a nature deficit disorder, and I think our kiddos have that. And so that's something that I hope our work at Get Outdoors Nevada, I was very passionate about and felt called to help connect more young folks to the outdoors.
Well, you're clearly helping in that area, because I see, well, you mentioned there are three main facets to your organization. One's the educational programs, which is probably mainly younger people, but also older, community volunteers and conservation efforts. Each one of these facets has got a load of tentacles and legs, so we're going to jump right in. So let's talk about your educational programs first. You've got Connect to Nature.
Yeah.
So you kind of addressed that already. And then the next is Learning in Nature. You've got guided field trips, interactive classroom programs, professional guidance, inspirational field trips, all kinds of things. So would you care to elaborate a little bit about your Learning in Nature aspect of your operation?
Absolutely. So the guiding principle for all of our education work is that young people, they need to experience nature to care about it and to be connected by it and to be inspired by it. And so we're really focused on what are the ways that we can get kiddos out of the classroom and into the real world, making these connections with the outdoors that reinforce those classroom topics that they're learning in science and history and things like that. So first is guided field trips. Of course, that's the one classic you think of, is taking kiddos and taking them out to these very special places. So for instance, we do field trips to Lake Mead, where we teach about geology. And there's a lot of really great things you can learn about geology through seeing it, seeing the rocks, the rock work right there, that, it's part of their coursework in the textbook, but it comes to life when you're actually seeing it in real life.
Yes.
We also do history field trips for the Nevada State History 4th grade curriculum, taking kids out to the Lake Mead area and taking them to the Hoover Dam and taking them to the railroad, the Nevada State Railroad Museum, so that they can experience these hands-on things that they're, again, learning about in their textbook, but seeing the real world context of it just brings it to life. So that's a big part of our programming, those field trips, those experiences. One of the other kind of things that we've been thinking about, though, is that it's not always possible to bring every student. We would love to bring every student in Clark County onto a field trip, but we are a small organization, and Clark County is a large school district. We're the 5th largest school district in the country, in fact. So there's a great need out there. So one of the things that I've been thinking about is, okay, how do we expand meeting this need with a team of, only 10 of us on our team right now? So there's a few things that we're doing. One of those is our native habitat work. And so we've been establishing native habitat gardens, which are gardens with native Mojave plants that are focused on providing habitat for our native Mojave pollinators. We're establishing some of those gardens on school sites. So this year we'll be establishing 2 new gardens on 2 school sites that we've worked very closely with here in Southern Nevada. And they're going to be these hands-on interactive garden experiences where the students are going to actually get involved in all aspects of planning the garden, planting the garden, taking care of the garden, but also doing science projects where they're observing the garden throughout the year and seeing what kind of changes the plants go through in their life cycle, but also what kind of pollinators are coming and using the garden. So it's a real opportunity to bring the outdoors into their school site in a very special way. Similarly, we're also doing teacher training because we realize that teachers haven't always been provided with all of the resources they need to know, hey, how do I get outdoor learning into my classroom? Or they may think, oh, I don't have time. Teachers have a lot on their plates right now, yes, and they don't always feel empowered with, oh, I have all the resources I need to do something creative. Often it's kind of, hey, you have to get all of these things done and you have not enough days to do it. And your students are behind grade level perhaps already as you're starting the year. And so teachers are kind of in this really, time is super valuable for them in the school year. And so we're creating more resources and training for teachers to help encourage them and give them some creative solutions, even if perhaps an entire day field trip is not accessible to them, that they can have something like a native habitat garden, or even just a simple activity that they can do in the courtyard of their school that gets students outside for an hour and thinking in a different environment and drawing real life connections that reinforce what they're learning in the textbook.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. And then that last is our Next Generation Science Standards Program. So NGSS, we call it for short, but it stands for Next Generation Science Standards. That's something that we've developed to really complement and go in depth with researching science phenomena. So again, the idea is that students are thinking about these STEM topics, these science phenomena, but we know that they're more powerful when they can connect that to a real world experience. So we might come in and we might be talking about something like invasive species. And that's a topic that students are learning about, but it can be very abstract to them, and it can be something that they don't really know how to connect it to the actual impact of it. So now what we'll do is we'll come in and we'll have 1 or 2 classroom sessions where we introduce the phenomena or the topic. We talk about it. We let the students do some independent research, some guided research, and then we'll take them on a field experience where we show them the effect of it. So we might take them to a place where, we've got a lot of invasive weed species in a public land area, and show them, hey, this is the effect of this. What do you notice? What do you see? And have them do on-site field observations and then come back to the classroom. And again, because students really, there's so many different types of learning styles, and there are some students who are able to learn very well from reading from a textbook, but there are many students who need that hands-on, tactile experience to understand the topic that's being taught. And so our goal really is to bring in that outdoor specialization and to support teachers in making those connections for students and kind of providing a more differentiated experience.
Sounds like you've put a lot of thought into these programs, all of them.
Yeah.
Please stay with us. Stay with us, folks. We're going to have a brief sponsorship break. We'll be right back.
Tariffs, pandemics, rising inflation. The Joshua Dowden team is ready when volatility happens. Markets fluctuate for reasons nobody can control. Don't let the headlines drive your financial plan. The Joshua Dowden team at Priority Wealth Partners has served Summerlin retirees for 3 decades. Our 5-tier risk management strategy matches our strategies with your goals, with plans designed for your assets to be there when you need them. Conveniently located at the heart of downtown Summerlin. Call Joshua Dowden today or visit DowdenFinancialServices.com.
Welcome back, everyone. And now in the second section, first I'd like to welcome back Joseph Kennedy from Get Outdoors Nevada, the Executive Director. Thank you again for being with us. In the first section, you were talking in depth about the native habitat program that you have. We've got a video of that, so let's turn around and have a little look at that, and it'll elaborate on what you were talking about. Let's look.
Schoolyard Habitat is this amazing program that reclaims our urban spaces and transforms them into Mojave Desert landscapes. It's taking spaces that were once concrete and rock and transforms them into natural habitat that benefit local migratory birds, pollinators, and other wildlife, essentially bringing the Mojave back to the Mojave. Get Outdoors Nevada provides this grant through a partnership with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service This helps support projects throughout the community and not just at schools. Our goal is to highlight the important science plays in stewardship. Understanding the natural world heightens our sense of place as well as values of community and respect. By creating a space where youth can learn about the outdoors, Get Outdoors Nevada is supporting the next stewards of our desert.
Wow, that was an amazing video. Goes to a lot of what you were talking about. And so do you want to add anything to what we saw in there?
Absolutely. So, yeah, the Native Habitat Program is one that's been we started in 2016 with the Partners for U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and it's been such a special program. We now are up to about just shy of 20 gardens, including 8 or so that community members can visit in parks that are located throughout the city of Las Vegas and the city of North Las Vegas, as well as some of our education gardens that we've been talking about that are at school sites and that are for students to use. So it's a really great program, and actually it's one that we're really, I know that many of the education programs I was talking about were very focused on the K through 12 learners, but actually, this is one of those programs that we're really expanding for lifelong learners, for learners of any age. And so one of those ways has been through seed workshops in the summer months in July, and right now in August. We're doing seed workshops where community members can come help us clean seeds from the Native Habitat Gardens. And so one of the reasons that's very important, we collect seeds. These plants that we're planting in the Native Habitat Gardens, all of these native Mojave Desert plants, they're not the kinds of plants that you could walk into your average nursery. You couldn't walk into Star Nursery or Home Depot and buy these plants. They're not commercially popular or available. They weren't the kind of plants that people were choosing to plant in their homes for a long time. And it's actually really difficult to find them. So one of the reasons that we've been planting these gardens is to help increase the number of these plants that are around, and then collect those seeds and prepare more seeds so that there's more available to folks who are interested in planting these native plants.
Nice work.
So we have those, and then also we establish new gardens every year. This year, we are establishing about 3 at least new native habitat gardens, and we do all of that with community members. So that's where I'm getting into our next kind of pillar here a little bit, but our volunteerism.
That's right.
Yeah, that's where we really depend on community support for people to come out and volunteer to help us establish these gardens. As I mentioned earlier, we're a small team of 10 team members, but when we establish these gardens, usually we have anywhere between 50 to 75 people at a garden installation.
Oh my goodness.
And so we need that labor to come help us, those folks to come volunteer their time, to come help us get these plants into the ground, and it really expands what we're able to do.
Yes. Now, that's not your only community volunteer program that you have. You've got a couple of others. I think one was Love Lake Mead.
Absolutely.
Would you like to talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely.
Program?
So one of the things that I'm so proud that we're able to be is that we are the official friends group, or the official philanthropic partner for Lake Mead National Recreation Area. So we work very closely with our partners at the National Park Service who manage the lake, and we are their partners in supporting everything that we can do, all the amazing outdoor recreation and things that happen at Lake Mead.
Nice.
So yeah, there's quite a few different initiatives that we do through them. As mentioned earlier, we do field trips there. We do a lot of education work there, but there's also chances to volunteer and support. So this past spring, we helped the park host the first ever Love Lake Mead Days, which was an entire week of community volunteer events for folks to come out and show their love and appreciation for Lake Mead by volunteering and helping to clean up the space. This October, we're planning on having a Love Lake Mead Day. The exact date I don't have to share just yet, but if you keep checking back on our website and newsletter, which I'll share more about later, you'll definitely be the first to, folks can be the first to know when that's coming, but we're going to be doing a Love Lake Mead Day in October for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to love about Lake Mead as well.
There sure is.
And now you also have a River Mountains Loop Trail.
Absolutely. So for folks who might not know about it, the River Mountains Loop Trail is this incredible resource that we have. It's this beautiful loop trail that is fit for biking, that is out partially in the Lake Mead area. It's actually a really cool project because it was so multidisciplinary. It covers, some of it's on City of Henderson land, Clark County land, Bureau of Reclamation land, Lake Mead land. And so all of these different agencies and groups came together, created this amazing resource for the community. And so it's a really great, awesome space. And yeah, we help to do volunteer events there and manage it. In November of this year, we're going to be doing a cleanup with the City of Henderson and some of the other partners, where we're going to be doing a cleanup for the River Mountain Loop Trail. So I'll be sure, again, I'm going to start plugging already our newsletter and our website, but folks need to stay up to date because we have all these amazing events throughout the year, but folks can come out and clean it, and it's a wonderful resource. A lot of folks maybe don't know about it, so I also love to share that information for folks to come out and use it, because it's about 32 miles of scenic biking trail.
Nice.
And it's just absolutely an incredible resource for the community.
Nice. That sounds, you've got a couple of wonderful volunteer opportunity places, and then you've got another one, the Vegas Valley Trail.
Yes, so Vegas Valley, and we do these incredible works all across the valley. So there's a couple different things for our volunteer program. So last year, our organization, for our last programming year, we had over 3,000 volunteers throughout the programming year. We collected together over 19,000 pounds of trash from parks and trails across the community. Truly incredible. And we also together planted over 1,000 native plants in our native habitat gardens. And we planted around, I think, 275 trees. So that's what we were able to do. And that's with our small team of 10 people, kind of planning and managing these projects. But it takes these volunteers to make all of that impact happen. It's incredible what we're able to do together as a community. So yes, so the Vegas Valley Trail projects that we do, we're very fortunate to have an agreement with the Regional Transportation Commission, the RTC, and it actually extends through all of the municipalities. So the City of Las Vegas, the City of North Las Vegas, the City of Henderson, and unincorporated Clark County. We work with all 4 of those municipalities, and we do events with each of them. So each year we do events with each of them. We make sure that we're spreading our love across the entire valley. No one is left out. We're making sure everyone is getting their included in their community volunteer events, and we bring the whole community together. And again, over 19,000 pounds of trash. It's incredible to see what we can do for our community when we come together like that, and the impact that can be made.
Yes, a lot of planning, a lot of time goes into just the coordination and planning of these events. Let alone actually doing it, just the planning and organizing.
So true.
Another thing that is listed on your website too is some of the benefits of the planting of these native plants.
Oh, yes.
And would you like to share with our viewers, what some of the benefits are?
Absolutely. So there are so many different benefits. The first one I'll go to that I'm sure everyone's mind jumps to is the water usage. So, here in Southern Nevada, I've got to give it up to our municipal planners. We do a really good job at recapturing water that goes through our homes. So things that are in your pipes, it's getting recaptured, it's going out to treatment, and it's coming back in through the water usage. But water that goes into landscaping and that goes into, plants in the outdoors is pretty much lost from our water cycle. It goes into the plant and it doesn't really get back into our water cycle. And so, of course, we have to be thinking, as we continue to grow as a community and our water resources continue to be taxed and to be really, in this historic drought period, this long-term drought period that we've been experiencing for decades at this point, we really have to be very thoughtful about it. And these native Mojave plants, they have adapted and evolved to life here in the desert and in particular in our southern Nevada desert. So often people might go to a nursery like Star Nursery or Home Depot, which are great. They're doing wonderful things. But they might go and they might pick a plant that they see, that looks pleasant and looks nice, and not really think about how much water resource that plant requires. Yes. And then even some of the plants that are considered drought resistant or drought tolerant, they're actually still require a lot more water than our native Mojave plants. So many of these plants, for instance, that come from the Sonoran Desert, which is, our neighbors in the state of Arizona, they actually get often, 7 to 8 inches more water per year than we are getting here in southern Nevada. Whereas, our native Mojave plants, they're very drought resistant, drought tolerant. They require a small percentage of water. We were just meeting with a trail planning team yesterday and talking about coming and removing some invasive species and some older plants that have been established there and that are very water intensive, that they require a lot of water, and replacing them with Mojave Desert plants to provide something that's a little bit more long-term, thoughtful for the community. Of course, the other piece of that is our native pollinators. So we have very specific pollinators here in the Mojave Desert that evolved very specific capabilities and very specific plants that they like to pollinate with. They are adapted to them. And so when, the community started expanding here greatly in the 80s and the 90s, and we started bringing in a lot of exotic plants perhaps from other areas, we also started seeing more invasive species of pollinators. So that's where you have more of the European honeybee or the African honeybee, which really kind of took over a lot of the area out here. And it became harder, a little bit more territorial and competitive with some of our native pollinators. So we really want to support our native pollinators as well and make sure that we're not losing them as species here in southern Nevada.
Yes. Hold that thought. We're going to take another sponsorship break. We'll be right back. Please stay with us, folks. I'll be back soon.
Introducing Pacific Coast Capital, your partner in finance. We provide financing for your business. Speed, flexibility, and creativity are the foundation of our service. We'll help you navigate through change and opportunities. Our 90-plus years of experience ensures quick turnaround on loan decisions. Ride the wave to prosperity with us. Ready for new funding? Visit our website today at pacificcoastcap.com.
Country roads take me home to the place where I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama. Here comes a triple yodel.
Hello everyone, welcome back, and welcome back Joe Kennedy from Get Outdoors Nevada, Executive Director. Thank you for being with us and giving us all this information today. So let's start on a different topic here now. You do publish a newsletter that you've alluded to several times, and how often do you publish that newsletter?
Yeah, so that newsletter comes out monthly, so one time a month. We don't spam folks. You're not going to get a million emails from us. I really like to give people all that information one time. Make sure that it's a really compelling, strong monthly newsletter, but not, send someone a mail every week, because I know our email boxes are all getting cluttered these days. So.
Yes. So now it's so people sign up to get your newsletter and then you email it to them.
That's correct.
And you do any that mailed directly for like seniors that don't have computers?
That's a great point, and that's something that I would like to do more of. But at the current moment, we do everything via the email. And so that is an email newsletter that we send out once per month. That said, we also do have a phone line that folks can call, and our phone number is listed on our website as well. But at getoutdoorsnevada.org. And that's outdoors with an S and Nevada completely spelled out. But outdoors.
Get to that later.
Yeah,
so.
Sorry,
that's right.
Jumping ahead of myself.
No, that's okay.
But that's where folks can also reach out to us if they are experiencing, that they don't have that email access. We'd be happy to give them information as they call the offices. But the newsletter really is the best way to learn what we're up to. As mentioned, we've got a lot of different programs. We've got a lot of different events. Yes. I would say, especially from September through May each year, which is our primary program season. On any given week, we're usually probably doing 2 or 3 community-facing events each week.
Wow,
so there's a lot going on. Yeah,
yes, there's a lot going on.
And so that newsletter is a great place for people to get connected. And again, we only send it once per month, and we don't share folks' contact information with anyone else. We keep it internal, and we make sure that they're not getting spammed.
Is there a cost for people to sign up and get your newsletter?
There's no cost.
There's
we
no
operate
cost,
that
free.
Try it free. We want to get the information
out. Sign up and you get it out. It sounds like you've got more going on in your organization than is going on the strip.
Yeah.
There's just so much happening. And you mentioned you just have a body of 10 regular volunteers right now. Yeah. You're totally manned by volunteers. There's no paid staff.
No, we do have paid staff. So we've got 10 paid staff.
10 paid staff.
Including myself. Yeah.
Okay.
And then, but again, other than that, it's all volunteer work. And as you can imagine, our paid staff, really so much of that is just the coordination and the planning to do the volunteer events. So if we don't have volunteers show up at our events, then we can't get the work done ourselves because it really does take a big lift for folks. So yeah, all of our impact is really community volunteer driven.
Well, and in going through our discussion earlier, there clearly are a lot of volunteer opportunities. There's just a plethora of them all over the place. You need people to do this, that, and the other. Absolutely. Where would you say that you need the volunteers most at this point in time?
Absolutely. Definitely for our volunteer events that we're hosting, which are particularly for trail cleanups and native habitat installation. So trail cleanups, we're hosting those starting in September and again going all the way through May. And there's usually 2 every single week between starting mid-September and then ending mid-May. That's when our weather is very conducive to us being outside. And so that looks like folks coming out and doing cleaning projects, cleaning debris, we do some painting and graffiti removal in parks and trails, things like that. And then native habitat installations, those are happening, and maintenance days, those are happening once or twice a month usually. And what's going on there is a little bit more of that hands-on work caring for plants. So people who are interested in gardening and have those skills, we could really use their support in coming out and maybe they've never worked with or don't know about our native plants. So I'd love to, hopefully it becomes a learning opportunity for them to learn more about native plants, and then an opportunity for them to give back by, using their gardening skills to help us tend our many gardens around the community.
Okay. And well, what about, you have a weekly workshop seed cleaning.
That's right. We have a weekly seed cleaning workshop going on right now. So that's a big one in July and August. So in August, there's 4 more opportunities for folks, and they can sign up at getoutdoorsnevada.org. We've got 4 more coming up. Those are really exciting workshops, and you're helping to clean and prepare seeds that we can use to replant in the gardens this next year. And folks who come to multiple of the seed cleaning workshops will have the opportunity to take seeds home with them as well if they want to plant them in their home garden. So definitely check it out and sign up. And it's that's a really fun learning opportunity as well as a service opportunity. That's all indoors right now, but to learn about the outdoors. But it is hot out right now, and so we understand that we want to keep folks safe and keep folks comfortable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, how many volunteers are you actually looking for your seed cleaning?
Absolutely.
Events? How many?
Yeah, so those seed cleaning workshops, we have a capacity of about 35 for each one. So we filled every single one of our July workshops, which was incredible. Yeah, that was great.
Fantastic.
And so we just launched the August ones last week, started putting that out there. And so far, I think we've got about 10 folks signed up for each one. So there's about 25 more spots at each of those 4 workshops. So get out there now.
Well, let's see if we can get some volunteers to go and help you out there, folks. If you're interested, there's nice opportunities for you here.
Yes.
Funding. How do you get funded? Do you get any government grants or anything like that?
Yeah, the answer is yes. We get a lot of funding through a few different sources. So historically, our funding has been about 40% through government sources, and then another 30 to 40% through our municipal partners, and that's the work that we do with the City of Las Vegas, City of North Las Vegas, the Regional Transportation Commission, Clark County, and City of Henderson. And then I would say the other 30% or so has been from private sources, and that's been a mix of corporate partners as well as individual donors and family foundations as well. So we're deeply grateful to every single one of our funders for everything. One of the challenges, of course, in the funding stream right now is it's been this new year, there's been a big shifts in some of the federal funding strategies. And so we are, as an organization, having to just kind of pivot and adapt to a new landscape. And I think that it's changing some of the ways in which I'm approaching funding. So I am looking to increase the amount of private funding that is coming into the organization. And my opinion, my hope would be that we have a balanced pipeline where about 50% of our funding comes from those public sources, such as federal funds and or municipal funds, and then another 50% coming from private donation funds, as in corporate family foundations and individual givers or individual donors. And so that's one that we're really working to grow a lot, and one that I'm hoping to connect with more people who are passionate about our mission and are interested in investing in that mission, because I know that we're achieving a lot as a team, we're doing a lot as a team. And so sometimes it's even hard for myself too. I have to break away from the work and the planning and the work and get out there and ask, hey, we need the fundraising to keep doing this great work. And so that's where I'm pivoting my attention a lot this year, to really be out in the community and telling that story of the work that's being done, so that people understand why it's important to invest in that work.
Well, it makes sense to sort of spread out, get the government support and the corporate support and individual and foundations. It's best then you don't have all your eggs in one basket.
Absolutely. Diversification is the name of the game for nonprofits.
Yes, it sure is. And now, do you actually have any fundraisers throughout the year at all, or do you have any coming up?
We don't have traditional fundraiser events in the way that many orgs do, like a gala or things like that. That's not typically been our approach. And again, part of that is that individual donations from individual givers has been a relatively small portion of our funding stream in the past. We've been very fortunate to have a lot of government funded grants that have allowed us to rely on those sources in the past and not have to go out to individuals. But it is something that we're looking into more, and I think pivoting in that direction. One of the main priorities right now too has been bringing some corporate sponsors online for our native habitat gardens and our sponsor a garden program. So this last year, we actually established our newest native habitat garden. It's at Lorenzi Park. And through the generosity of the Cox Communications, they came on and sponsored that garden. And
Nice.
It was a wonderful win-win for both of us. And so that's something that I'm really focused on right now, is bringing some corporate sponsorships into our gardens. And so I hope to continue growing that and finding some more success with that. In terms of fundraisers, though, folks can always make a gift through our website at getoutdoorsnevada.org. And really, my hope is that we, don't have to, that folks can feel compelled to make a gift when they want to, and that we don't have to tie up too much of our event planning with planning fundraisers, just because we want to keep planning these volunteer events that really get out and create that impact. And so I'm hoping that we can find good solutions to keep our attention focused on that as much as possible.
Okay, perfect. So, okay. Now, give us out your website where people can learn more about your organization. Please share with our viewers.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening and hearing more about our organization. And please visit www.getoutdoorsnevada.org. That's outdoors with an S, and Nevada completely spelled out. And you can learn more about our programs. You can sign up for volunteer events. You can sign up for our newsletter, and you can make a donation, all at getoutdoorsnevada.org.
And do you have a phone number that you care to share?
I do.
You never dial it. So
I know.
If you can't remember it, don't worry.
I don't have it off the top of my head. I'm
John,
so sorry.
That's quite all right.
Yeah.
John will put it out there on your behalf.
Thank you, John.
Okay. Not a problem. Joe, thank you so much for being with us today and sharing what you are doing, encouraging people to get outdoors, helping keep our environment beautiful, and encouraging volunteers. It's amazing what you guys are doing. You've been around a long time, and looks like you're growing. No pun intended. You don't let the grass grow under your feet. That's for sure. So thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
And thank you, viewers, for tuning in today. If you know of anybody who would like to volunteer, donate, or get involved with Get Outdoors Nevada, please share this interview with them. Get Outdoors Nevada would certainly love to hear from you. If you have any questions or comments, please reach out to me, Stephen at thegiftofgiving.vegas. I'd certainly love to hear from you too. I'd like to thank our show's producer, John Stiles, and station owner of WWDBTV. And I am also eternally grateful to our sponsors, Priority Wealth Partners, Pacific Coast Capital, the Firelight Barn, and the late Ralph Champion. You'll hear his message at the end of this program. And Friends of the Gift of Giving. These are the anonymous donors that contribute to our program and help keep it on the air. I'm very grateful for them too. I hope you enjoyed this program. Please stay safe. I hope you'll join us again next week. Be kind to one another, and we'll see you back here soon. Bye for now.
Mr. R.J. Champion is proud to sponsor WWDB-TV's series, The Gift of Giving, and wishes the program much success. Congratulations and gratitude to the featured guests and the organizations they represent. Our community is well served by your tireless efforts to make Nevada a better state for all its residents.